The manager told Michael that his kind wasn't welcome at the prestigious Excelsior Hotel. 3 hours later, Michael did something that left the entire staff speechless and made that manager clean rooms for the rest of his life. It was March 18th, 1990, in Dallas, Texas. Michael Jackson had just finished the first leg of his record-breaking Bad World Tour and was taking a brief break before heading to Europe. His team had booked the entire penthouse floor of the Excelsior Hotel, Dallas's most prestigious five-star establishment, a place where oil tycoons and senators stayed when they wanted to feel like royalty. But when Michael's advance team arrived to check arrangements, they encountered something that would set in motion one of the most satisfying reversals of fortune in entertainment history. Richard Whitman had been the general manager of the Excelsior for 15 years. At 52 years old, with silver hair and an imperious manner, he ruled the hotel like his personal kingdom. Staff members called him the emperor behind his back, and not affectionately. He was known for two things: his obsessive attention to the hotel's prestige and his barely concealed prejudices that he dressed up as maintaining standards. When Whitman learned that Michael Jackson's team had booked the penthouse floor, his first response wasn't excitement at hosting the world's biggest entertainer. It was panic about what he called the wrong element coming to his hotel. "I don't care if he's famous," Whitman told his assistant manager, Janet Phillips, a conversation she would later testify to in court. "We have a certain caliber of guest here. Our regular clients won't feel comfortable." Janet, who was African American herself, knew exactly what Whitman meant by caliber, but she needed her job. She stayed silent. At 3 p.m., Michael arrived at the Excelsior in a convoy of 3 black SUVs. He was traveling relatively light for him, just his personal security team, his manager Frank DeLeo, his assistant, and his choreographer. As they entered the hotel's magnificent marble lobby, with its crystal chandeliers and Renaissance paintings, other guests began recognizing him, pulling out cameras, whispering excitedly. That's when Richard Whitman made the biggest mistake of his life. He approached Michael's group with 2 security guards flanking him, but instead of welcoming the world's most famous entertainer, he said something that stopped everyone in the lobby cold. "I'm sorry, but there's been a mistake. We're fully booked." Frank DeLeo, a veteran of countless celebrity situations, stepped forward. "That's impossible. We have confirmed reservations for the entire penthouse floor. I spoke to your reservations manager yesterday." Whitman's lip curled slightly. "As I said, there's been a mistake. The Excelsior has certain standards, and we reserve the right to refuse service to anyone who might turd our regular clientele." Michael, who had been silent until now, wearing his signature sunglasses and military-style jacket, spoke very quietly. "What do you mean by disturb?" Whitman looked Michael up and down, taking in his cherry curl, his makeup, his outfit that probably cost more than Whitman made in a month, and said the words that would doom him. "Let me be frank, Mr. Jackson. Your kind of entertainment crowd isn't what the Excelsior is about. We cater to a more traditional clientele. I'm sure you understand. There are other hotels in Dallas that would be more suitable for you and your people." The lobby had gone completely silent. Guests were frozen, watching this scene unfold. Several had started recording with camcorders, sensing they were witnessing something historic. Michael slowly removed his sunglasses, revealing eyes that burned with controlled fury. When he spoke, his voice was still soft, but everyone in that marble lobby heard every word.
My kind, my people.
"Say what you really mean, Mr. Whitman. Richard Whitman, and I mean exactly what I said. The Excelsior maintains certain standards." "You mean the Excelsior doesn't allow black people?" Michael interrupted, his voice now carrying across the entire lobby. "I didn't say that," Whitman protested, realizing too late that dozens of people were witnessing this. "You didn't have to," Michael replied. He looked around the lobby, taking in the shocked faces of guests and staff. Then he did something nobody expected. He smiled. "Mr. Whitman, what time does your bank close?" The question was so unexpected that Whitman blinked in confusion. What? 5 o'clock? But what does that—" "Frank," Michael said to his manager, still smiling that dangerous smile, "call Barry Gordy. Tell him I need to make a purchase." A big one. As Frank DeLeo pulled out his mobile phone, still a rarity in 1990. Michael turned back to Whitman. You own any stock in this hotel, Mr. Whitman?
No, but the board of directors.
Good, that'll make this easier. What happened over the next 3 hours became known in Dallas business circles, the acquisition. Unknown to Whitman, the Excelsior Hotel had been struggling financially for 2 years. The board of directors had been quietly seeking buyers, but the asking price of $47 million had scared off investors. Michael Jackson, whose bad tour had grossed over $125 million, made a single phone call to his business manager. By 4:45 p.m., 15 minutes before the banks closed, Michael Jackson had arranged to purchase the Excelsior Hotel for $52 million cash, $5 million over asking price for what he called the pleasure of immediate ownership. But here's where the story gets really interesting. Michael didn't leave the lobby. He sat in one of the plush chairs near the entrance, reading a newspaper, while his legal team worked their magic. Richard Whitman, increasingly nervous, had retreated to his office, but Michael's security team had positioned themselves so they could see him through the glass doors. At 5:47 p.m., the fax machine in the hotel's administrative office began printing, and printing, and printing 23 pages of legal documents, transferring ownership of the Excelsior Hotel to MJ Enterprises, effective immediately. The chairman of the hotel's board, Thomas Morrison, personally called Whitman's office. Richard, you need to come to the lobby, now. When Whitman emerged, his face had gone pale. He walked toward Michael like a man heading to his execution. The lobby was now packed with even more people who had heard something extraordinary was happening. Michael stood up, folded his newspaper, and smiled at Whitman. Mr. Whitman, I believe you work for me now. The legal documents were clear. As the new owner, Michael Jackson had complete control over all staffing decisions. His first act as owner was announced right there in the lobby, in front of over 200 witnesses. Mr. Whitman, you're absolutely right that the Excelsior needs to maintain certain standards, high standards. Standards that include treating every guest with dignity and respect, regardless of their race, religion, or background. Whitman started to speak, but Michael held up his hand. You have two choices. You can resign immediately, forfeit your pension and benefits, and never work in hospitality again, after I ensure every hotel in America knows exactly why you were fired. Or, Michael paused, letting the tension build. Or you can accept your new position. New position? Whitman croaked. Head of housekeeping. Entry level. You'll be cleaning rooms, Mr. Whitman, starting with mine. You'll learn what actual work feels like, what it's like to serve instead of discriminate. You'll keep this job for exactly 1 year, and then you're free to leave with a neutral reference. But if you quit before then, or if I hear of one single incident of you mistreating any staff member or guest, the world will know exactly what kind of man you are. The lobby erupted in gasps and scattered applause. Whitman's face had gone from pale to bright red. You can't do this. I have a contract. Michael's lawyer, who had just arrived, stepped forward. Actually, your contract has a moral turpitude clause. Your discriminatory behavior, witnessed by over 200 people and captured on at least 12 cameras, gives Mr. Jackson full rights to terminate you for cause. He's being generous. What happened next shocked everyone. Richard Whitman, the proud, prejudiced manager who had ruled the Excelsior like a tyrant, began to cry. Not tears of rage, but tears of complete defeat. I have a family, a reputation. And now you have a chance to save both, Michael said quietly. By learning humility, by understanding what it feels like to be judged, not by your work, but by your skin color. By actually earning your redemption instead of just apologizing. The crowd in the lobby was transfixed. They were watching justice happen in real time. Janet Phillips, the assistant manager, who had endured years of Whitman's subtle racism, stepped forward. Mr. Jackson, what about the rest of the staff? Michael turned to her with a genuine smile. Ms. Phillips, I believe you just became the new general manager of the Excelsior Hotel. Congratulations on your promotion. Janet's hands flew to her mouth as tears streamed down her face. She was the first black general manager of any luxury hotel in Dallas. But Michael wasn't done with his first day as hotel owner. Effective immediately, he announced to the crowd, the Excelsior Hotel has a new policy. We will reserve 20% of our rooms at subsidized rates for families of sick children receiving treatment at Dallas Children's Hospital. We will hire from underserved communities. We will become what a luxury hotel should be. A place of grace, dignity, and inclusion. The crowd erupted in sustained applause. But the most remarkable moment was yet to come. Michael walked over to Richard Whitman, who was standing there, destroyed. His entire world collapsed, and Michael did something nobody expected. He extended his hand. Mr. Whitman, this can be the worst day of your life or the first day of a better life. The choice is yours. Whitman looked at the extended hand of the man he had tried to humiliate. His hand was shaking as he reached out and shook Michael's hand. I'll take the housekeeping job, he whispered. Good, Michael said. Report to Miss Phillips tomorrow at 6 a.m. You'll need to be fitted for your uniform. The transformation of Richard Whitman became legend in Dallas. For the first month, he was terrible at his job. He'd never actually cleaned anything in his life. He complained, he was slow, he broke things. But Michael had privately instructed Janet to be patient, but firm with him. The turning point came in his third month. Whitman was cleaning a room where a family from Mississippi was staying, a black family with a sick child at the hospital. The father, not knowing who Whitman was, started talking to him as he worked. This place is a godsend, the man said. We could never afford a place like this normally, but Mr. Jackson's program means we can stay near our baby while she gets treatment. That man is an angel. Whitman stopped cleaning. Your baby is sick? Leukemia, 4 years old. But the doctors here are the best. Something cracked in Richard Whitman that day. He went to Janet Phillips and asked if he could be assigned exclusively to the rooms of families with sick children. He wanted to make sure their stays were perfect. By month 6, Whitman had become the most requested housekeeper in the hotel. Families would specifically ask for Mr. Richard because he didn't just clean their rooms. He left little toys for the siblings, arranged for special meal deliveries, and sometimes just sat and listened to exhausted parents who needed someone to talk to. When his year was up, Michael returned to the Excelsior. He found Whitman in the laundry room, teaching new employees the proper way to fold fitted sheets. Your year is up, Mr. Whitman, Michael said. You're free to go. Whitman looked at Michael, and his eyes were completely different from that day in the lobby. They were humbled, grateful, changed. Mr. Jackson, with your permission, I'd like to stay. Not as a manager. As head of guest services for your medical family program. I've learned what it means to serve. Really serve. And I'm good at it. Michael smiled. The job is yours. Richard Whitman worked at the Excelsior for 8 more years, becoming known as the Angel of the Excelsior for his dedication to families with sick children. When he retired in 1999, over 500 families came to his retirement party. In his speech, he said, Michael Jackson could have destroyed me, and I would have deserved it. Instead, he gave me something I didn't deserve, a chance to become a better man. He didn't just buy a hotel that day. He bought my soul back from the darkness I'd let consume it. The Excelsior Hotel, under Michael's ownership, became the most successful hotel in Dallas, known worldwide for its inclusive policies and humanitarian programs. It proved that doing good was good business. When Michael died in 2009, Richard Whitman, then 71 years old, attended the memorial service. He was one of the few non-celebrities allowed to speak. His words were simple. Michael Jackson taught me that redemption isn't just possible. Sometimes it comes from the very people you tried to hurt. He was called the King of Pop, but to me, he'll always be the king of second chances. The Excelsior Hotel still operates today. In the lobby, there's a plaque by the chair where Michael sat while buying the hotel. It reads, on this spot, March 18, 1990, Michael Jackson proved that justice and mercy can exist in the same moment. Every guest who enters these doors enters as an equal. Below the plaque is a photo, Michael Jackson, shaking hands with Richard Whitman while Janet Phillips stands between them, smiling. The man who tried to keep Michael Jackson out of his hotel ended up being saved by him. The employee who suffered in silence became a groundbreaking leader. And a hotel that represented exclusion became a symbol of inclusion. All because, instead of walking away from racism, Michael Jackson decided to buy the whole damn building and change it from the inside out. Sometimes the best revenge isn't destruction, it's transformation. And nobody understood that better than the king of pop.